Stakeholders of the education sector in the diocese take a moment to reflect on the pedagogy, discipline, and security of colleges in the diocese. They had a meeting to this earlier today at the Education Secretariat. And as work progresses at the Divine Mercy Cathedral and the Pastoral Center as well, a power generator has been installed at the Bishop Our Memorial Pastoral Center to boost energy on the site. His Lordship Michael Bibi paid a recent visit to this site to evaluate the progress of work. Those were the headlines of tonight's newscast. Their full readouts will be yours in a moment. Good evening and welcome to Divine Mercy Prime. We begin our newscast tonight with the Diocese of Boya, wherein a recent communique from the local ordinary of Boya, Bishop Michael Bibi, was sent out in order to enable Christians to better prepare themselves to participate in the celebration of all saints and all souls solemnities, so as to enhance a group participation. This came in when the bishop anticipated the solemnity from the 1st of November to this Sunday, 29th of October. Father Cletus Aka has a full reading of the communique.
October 2nd, 2023. To all clergy, all members of the Institute of Consecrated Life, all societies of apostolic life, all lay faithful, Diocese of Boya, reference, secular on the solemnity of all saints and all souls in the Diocese of Boya. May God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ, in communion with the Holy Spirit, give you grace and peace. This year, the solemnity of all saints falls on Wednesday, November 1st, 2023. Since Wednesday is a working day in our community, and in order that the faithful have sufficient opportunity to exercise their devotion, I would like to indicate in this circular the following adjustment to our liturgical program. 1. Solemnity of All Saints, Sunday 29 October 2023. 2nd, All Souls Day, Thursday 2nd November 2023. Let this adjustment be communicated to the Christian folk, and it is my wish that our celebration of these holy days this year will be as fruitful as ever. Yours in his service, Michael Miabuswe Bibi, Bishop of Boya.
Now take you to some major projects or some major project sites in the Diocese of Boya, where construction works are improving and progressing at a speedy rate day by day. The Bishop of the Diocese of Boya, His Lordship Michael Bibi, paid a visit recently on Wednesday, October 25th, 2023, with some collaborators, where he also installed a new power generator at the Bishop Pius Our Memorial Center. This was to ensure constant power supply at the site. Joseph Ottop was present during this visit and now reports.
The two main construction projects in the Diocese of Boya, that is the Divine Mercy Cathedral and the Bishop Pius Our Memorial Pastoral Center Muliko, is by the day moving to new levels as construction works continue to make progress on these two sites. As of the last visit of the Bishop of the Diocese of Boya, His Lordship Michael Bibi, to these sites, the work is improving as the technicians on board are putting up some finishing touches as concerns the tiling of the floor, the mounting of the doors, and the roofing of the cathedral. The Bishop Pius Our Memorial Pastoral Center is not left out, as the erection for the second building of the center has begun, which in the nearest future will accommodate not only Christians from far and near, but the entire population. The progress of work on these sites is thanks to the benevolence and goodwill of Christians in and out of the Diocese of Boya, as well as the effort of Bishop Michael Bibi and his collaborators, who are making sure this dream comes to fruition. It is therefore worth noting that other works are ongoing on these project sites with high noticeable improvements.
In order to better illuminate and prevent failure of electricity or electricity inconveniences a generator has been installed at the Bishop Pius Hour Memorial Pastoral Center. More on the arrival of this power generating device with Laura Asongani.
One of the key projects of the Diocese of Boya has been the construction of a pastoral center, the Bishop Pius Hour Pastoral Center. The ceremonial and accommodation ground has been witnessing some embellishment and furnishing for the smooth maintenance and running of the infrastructure. Most recent of which is a 1,100 kilogram generator delivered to the premise of the pastoral center recently. The 231-volt gas generator device would illuminate the building and other structures on the premise, and by so doing, solving and preventing any future electricity inconveniences. Worthy of mentioning is the fact that the pastoral center has already been serving its purpose, as it recently accommodated the priests of the Diocese of Boya for their presbytery meeting and the come together for all services in the Diocese of Boya, among others. The progress of work of the ongoing projects in the Diocese of Boya would all be accredited to the generosity of the Christians under the auspices of the Bishop of the Diocese of Boya, Monsieur Michael Bibi.
Let us come back to this story that is top on our news. Education stakeholders of Catholic secondary schools in the Diocese of Boya have brainstormed on pedagogy, disciplines, and security in Catholic colleges. This was during a meeting session convened by the Catholic Education Secretary, Reverend Father Vincent Mesue, today, October 26, 2023, at the Education Secretariat. Gillian Yenla Tata now tells us more in the following report.
Here present in this extraordinary meeting convened by the Education Secretary, Reverend Father Vincent Mesue, are principals and superintendents of Catholic secondary schools, as well as those of the Education Secretariat. They are here to roll out guidelines and solutions to some pedagogic and security issues in the education sector of the Diocese of Boya. Reverend Father Vincent Mesue expressed some of the key issues discussed.
Came today as principals and superintendents to look at a number of things, beginning with the teachers' situation in school and whether all the schools have the required number of teachers that they requested. We also look at the comportment of students, knowing that this time is not easy to handle students, so a lot of difficulties in handling students, and we share our common experiences in our respective schools, in a way that some of those schools that are very challenging, trying to bring out their challenges. They also had the support of the sister schools on how to carry out or maybe how to meet these challenges. And so those were some of the things we were talking about. And then the interesting thing also was the word of Catholic schools, which all the principals are subscribing that we could go back to it. So with this, I think we have to talk with the bishop and to see that maybe this word of Catholic schools come back again, because it's an area where students experience themselves. So it's much awaited by students, it's much awaited by our schools. And they also talked about school fees, making sure that students are paying school fees. And then we mentioned something on enrollment, which has greatly reduced this time around, especially with the primary. So we're looking at what are the possible reasons for the low enrollment, and we identify a number of things which we're trying to see how we can put those things in place so that at least by next year, hopefully, we shall have better enrollment.
Catholic colleges pride themselves with top-notch academic and moral rearmament of learners. The stakeholders in this meeting also identified some challenges needing urgent redress.
Some of the key elements that were discussed in the meeting is about discipline in our schools, pedagogy, and also some of our celebrations that are coming, like the catechaticum and also the purchase of benches at the co-cathedral. And above all, we had to dwell a lot on pedagogy, teachers' activity, and discipline.
While thanking the Education Secretary for this timely meeting, some principals expressed satisfaction, especially on the deliberations from other Catholic schools.
Yes, I think I'm leaving very, very satisfied and energized because we shared experiences. What happens in other college, we learn from one another, and we go back with a lot of knowledge on how to tackle challenges in our respective Catholic college.
In this gathering, the school managers are living fulfilled while ensuring that the welfare of students is prioritized. Education associates, especially the Catholic education family, are looking forward to this school year with a lot of optimism.
Still in the church, it's been 3 weeks since participants of the Synod on Synodality converged in Rome for this elaborate meeting. This third week, some clerics had inputs to make to the attendants as concerns this week's focus, which was mission. Cardinal Charles Bo of Myanmar, in the spirit of the Synod, urged everyone to remain patient as well as have assurance in God as they draw close to the end of the first phase of the Synod. Details and more in the following report. Since 4th October 2023, participants at the Synod on Synodality have been in Rome to deliberate on its theme for a synodal church, communion, participation, and mission. Today marks exactly 3 weeks, and the focus this week after treating communion and participation is mission. During the opening mass for this last week of the Synod on Synodality at the St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, the officiating minister Cardinal Charles Bo of Myanmar said inter alia that at this stage of the Synod, the spirit of patience and assurance in God should characterize all.
Our synodal journey is not a pre-programmed space odyssey with fixed mathematical equations. Like Abraham, the church is called to be righteous, to embody a synodal journey of faith with the conviction that God never fails.
Also, drawing from his relationship with his priest, the Archbishop of Vienna, Cardinal Christoph Schönborn, notes the positive impact of the Synod on Synodality, especially with the spirit of silence and listening, not forgetting dialogue. This, he said, has led to effectiveness of the Synod. After being a participant for 10 synods, he likens that on synodality to the Council of Jerusalem.
And perhaps the method that is being carried out these days does not always have to be carried out in this way, in a precise way, with the 3 phases of listening as we do here, or as I do in my diocese in all the meetings with the priests. We do it like this. We listen, we have silence, and then we discuss. And this changes the situation a lot.
The preacher of the retreat prior to the opening of the Synod on Synodality, Father Radcliffe, reiterates that the last week of the Synod is a time of active waiting. This for him is the method of obtaining the most precious gifts.
This is a time of active waiting. Let me repeat the words of Simone Weil I quoted during the retreat. We do not obtain the most precious gifts by going in search of them, but by waiting for them.
All in all, there is great hope and expectations as the people of God await the final communique that will be unveiled on Saturday, 28th of October 2023, and the closing mass of the Synod on Synodality on Sunday, October 29th, 2023. This will close officially the first phase of the Synod on Synodality. In our foreign page tonight, Nigeria Supreme Court dismisses election challenges by Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi. Meanwhile, death toll in the Democratic Republic of Congo boat accidents reaches 54. And President Emmanuel Macron of France announced his country will dispatch a naval vessel to assist Gaza's overwhelmed hospitals in the face of Israel's ongoing bombardment and blockade. Nadesh Me took interest on these stories and now reports.
Main opposition candidate had sought to reverse February's presidential election, alleging it was marred by irregularities. The election petition court upheld Mr. Tibuno's victory last month, but the opposition insisted Nigeria's highest court should quash the judgment. The presidential election result has never been overturned in Nigeria. The judges first dismissed the challenge by Atiku Abubakar, who came second in the poll, and then rejected a similar one from Peter Obi, who came third. It should be recalled that the election was the most fair fearless contested since the end of military rule in 1999, with 3 strong candidates for the first time. Mr. Tinubu won with 37% of votes cast against 29% for Mr. Abubakar and 25% for Mr. Obi. Authorities in Equator Province of the Democratic Republic of Congo have recovered 10 more bodies from a boat accident that happened on Sunday, raising the death toll to 54. The Health and Humanitarian Affairs Minister for the province, Luc Didier Mboula, also said that 267 people were rescued. Authorities believe that about 50 people are still missing, although they could retrieve the passenger manifest as the boat owner also drowned. The accident happened in the early hours of Sunday when a wooden vessel sank in the Lunlanga River in Western Democratic Republic of Congo. This is the second deadly boat accident to happen in the country this month. It should be recalled that on October 13th, a wooden boat sank at the port of Mbadaka in Equator's capital, killing 63 people and leaving more than 100 others still missing. According to the Transport Minister, Mark Ekela, there have been 88 boat accidents this year alone, 88% of which involve old wooden vessels or vessels sailing at night in breach of regulation. The government has announced that it is working on tighter measures, including banning dilapidated vessels and separating people from traveling together with cargo and pets. Democratic Republic of Congo is vast and has poor transport network, forcing most people to travel using dilapidated boats and in unsafe sailing conditions. President Emmanuel Macron of France announced on Wednesday that his country would dispatch a naval vessel to assist Gaza overwhelmed hospital in the face of Israel's ongoing bombardment and blockade. Macron revealed that the ship will depart from Toulon within the next 48 hours with the primary mission of providing vital support to Gaza's healthcare facilities. He shared this decision during a joint press conference in Cairo held alongside Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. France would also be sending a plane loaded essential medical supplies to Egypt, which will then facilitate the transport of these crucial materials into the embattled Palestinian territory. In an environment marked by escalating hostilities between Israel and Hamas, President al-Sisi, during the press conference, expressed the urgent need to prevent a ground invasion of the Gaza Strip. He emphasized that such an incursion would inevitably result in a high number of civilian casualties. He also underscored that over 6,000 civilian fatalities had already been reported in connection with the Israeli strike, and alarmingly, nearly half of those casualties were children. Macron's visit to Egypt followed his recent stop in Israel, where he expressed support for the Israeli military's retaliatory action against Hamas. It should be recalled that on October 7, Hamas militants carried out the deadliest attack in Israel's history, targeting southern areas of the country and resulting in the loss of more than 1,400 lives, the majority of whom were civilian. In the week since this initial attack, a relentless campaign of Israeli airstrike in Gaza under the control of Hamas has led to the tragic death of over 6,500 individuals, the majority of whom were civilian, as reported